Inside Albania's plan for a Sufi Bektashi microstate.
On September 21, news surfaced in the New York Times that Albania is planning to create a new Muslim state in the heart of its capital, Tirana. Prime Minister Edi Rama, speaking before the United Nations General Assembly, stated that his country's support for transforming the Bektashi Order World Center into a sovereign entity within Tirana would symbolize moderation, tolerance, and peaceful coexistence. The proposed 27-acre Muslim state would be significantly smaller than the Vatican, which spans 120 acres. While the territory is being called a Muslim state, it is poised to be unlike any other country governed by Islamic law. According to Edmund Brahimic, leader of the Bektashi order in Albania, the state will allow alcohol consumption, let women wear what they want and impose no lifestyle rules. God does not forbid anything. That is why he gave us minds, he said. In the Islamic world, mention of Albania often brings to mind renowned scholars like Nasruddin Albani, Shoaib Arnaout, or Abdulkadir Arnaout, figures celebrated for their contributions to hadith studies. Yet, this recent development, the plan to establish a new Muslim state within Albania, introduces an unexpected shift that raises significant questions. What exactly is the Bektashi order? Why is Albania pursuing the creation of this new state? And what is it that this state hopes to achieve? Bektashi order. The Bektashi order is a Sufi tradition that originated in the Ottoman Empire in the 13th century, drawing on the spiritual teachings of Hasai Bektash Veli, who passed away in 1271. Initially, it bore similarities to other Sunni Sufi orders as it focused on mystical practices within the Sunni framework. However, in the 15th century, under the guidance of Balam Sultan, Bektashism underwent significant restructuring, transforming into the form we recognize today. This evolution included the incorporation of Shiite and Hurufi elements which distinguished it from mainstream Sunni Sufi practices. When Sultan Bayezid II ascended the throne in 1481, he faced a growing geopolitical challenge. A Shiite state led by Shah Ismail was expanding in eastern Anatolia. As this development threatens Ottoman authority, the Sultan needed something to counterbalance the influence of Shah Ismail and curb the spread of Shiite ideology in Anatolia. He saw an opportunity in the Bektashi order. Thus, he strengthened it under state supervision and fostered it as a loyal alternative to Shurism. This arrangement laid the groundwork for Bektashism's unique position in Ottoman and, later, Albanian religious landscapes. During this period, Bektashism expanded into the Balkans, facilitated by the Ottomans as a means of reinforcing loyalty and cohesion within the empire's diverse territories. The Bektashi order established a close relationship with the Janissary Corps, an elite military unit integral to the Ottoman armed forces. The Janissary Corps, originally founded under Sultan Murad I, 1362–1389, operated through the Devshirme recruitment system, where young revert boys from Christian communities were recruited, trained in military disciplines to serve the state. Bektashi dervishes played a key role in this process, providing both religious and military guidance to the Janissaries. In 1826, the Ottoman Empire abolished the Janissary Corps, an institution that had become increasingly unruly and politically influential. Due to the strong ties between the Janissaries and the Bektashi order, the abolition also led to the banning of Bektashism. Ottoman authorities confiscated the order's assets, and many Bektashi lodges were either closed or handed over to other Sufi orders. Despite these restrictions, Bektashism found ways to survive, especially in Albania among other regions where Ottoman central authority was weaker. Following the establishment of the Republic of Turkey on October 29, 1923, sweeping reforms were enacted to secularize the new nation-state. In 1925, a decision was made to close down all dervish lodges, including Bektashi lodges, marking an end to the public activities of Sufi orders. This affected not only the Bektashis but all Sufi sects, as the government sought to eliminate religious institutions perceived as hindrances to modern, secular governance. In response to these changes, the Bektashi leadership decided to relocate their center from Turkey to Albania. Salih Niyazi Didi Baba, the order's spiritual leader at the time, traveled to Albania via Egypt to establish the order's presence there and led the Bektashis until his assassination in 1941, during the Italian occupation in World War II. Bektashism and the Albanian identity. The establishment of Bektashism in Albania significantly shaped the country's national identity. Although it represents only around 5% of the population, Bektashism was embraced as a model of moderate Islam, aligning with Albania's secular values. In fact, Naim Frashëri, a prominent nationalist, advocated for identifying Bektashism with Albanian identity. After World War II, Communist leader Enver Hoxha targeted all religious institutions in his drive to establish Albania as an atheist state. Religious activities were banned until the 1990s, with Albania remaining officially atheist under strict government control. However, in 1993, after the collapse of communism, Albanian Bektashi came back to life with Didi Baba Rezhat as the spiritual leader. This appointment sparked some controversy in Turkey, where Bektashi communities in Izmir contended that Turkey had its own appointed caliph figure and therefore disputed the legitimacy of Albania's Didi Baba as the sole leader. Nevertheless, from 2011 onwards, Bektashism in Albania began to formalize its structure, with leadership operating within a defined institutional framework to support organized activities and preserve the Bektashi heritage in the region. Beyond its spiritual role, Albania has wielded the Bektashi order as a diplomatic asset, positioning it as a trump card in its bid for European Union membership. The order is viewed as a uniquely tolerant branch of Islam, one that lacks an evangelical or doctrinaire focus and is lenient in observing traditional Islamic practices. In addition to its diplomatic leverage, Bektashism has also become a tool for tourism. Some travel agencies actively promote tours centered on Bektashi heritage, advertising experiences guided by dervishes and other Bektashi practitioners to give visitors a deeper understanding of this unique Sufi tradition. Didi Baba Edmund with Albanian Muslims at Eid prayer at Deshmorit Combat Boulevard in 2015. Under the leadership of Baba Edmund Brahimaj, the Bektashi order has increasingly entered the political sphere. Brahimaj has sought to position Bektashism as a moderate alternative to what he describes as radical Islamism, aligning the order's principles with those of Catholicism. In fact, in an interview with Albanian newspaper, Shqiptarja, he promoted it as a potential model for Islamic countries like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar. Thus, it's little surprise that the idea of a sovereign Bektashi state within Albania has now taken center stage. Bektashi State Project. The proposed Bektashi state is planned to operate with a Vatican-like status, occupying 27 acres of land in Tirana. It will be governed by a council overseeing administrative matters and will grant citizenship to its members. Citizenship rights, including certificates and passports, will be issued, and an intelligence unit will be established for security. However, the state will have no military force. For many Albanians, this announcement came as a surprise. Albanian-American scholar Professor Iliter Mihili expressed this sentiment in an interview with BBC Turkish, stating, "Nobody expected such an announcement. It was not in Albania, it was in the New York Times. Frankly, I think the Bektashi community in Albania didn't know either, because they were also surprised. Is it a Zionist project?" The proposed Bektashi state has sparked varying interpretations, with some suggesting it might be a Zionist project designed to serve US and Israeli interests in the Balkans. According to this view, the project is a strategic move to establish a new tool of influence in the region. With direct intervention in the Balkans no longer feasible, the US and Israel may see this state as a vehicle for maintaining their geopolitical leverage. Adding to this theory, some sources link the project to George Soros, a Jewish billionaire with alleged ties to Albanian Prime Minister Edi Rama, suggesting that it could be part of broader Balkan initiatives attributed to Soros. Another interpretation sees the project as a countermeasure to Iran's influence. For decades, Iran has pursued a strategy of exporting its revolutionary ideals, seeking to extend the reach of Shiite Islam across the Middle East and beyond. By supporting a distinctly moderate and non-evangelical Islamic entity like the Bektashi state, this initiative could serve to limit Iran's ability to gain a foothold in the Balkans, weakening its broader influence. Both interpretations suggest that the Bektashi state is viewed by some as a geopolitical tool rather than purely a religious or cultural initiative. The Bektashi state project can also be interpreted as a manifestation of liberal Islam at the state level. According to Albanian Prime Minister Edi Rama, while emphasizing peaceful coexistence and moderation, the project is founded on principles of religious tolerance and pacifism. Meanwhile, the adoption of a Vatican-like model, with its centralized religious governance, aligns with the broader Muslim desire for the caliphate, that serves as a global focal point for Islam. However, the proposed state's departure from Orthodox Islam and its positioning itself as a more secular Islam is glaring. In this way, the Bektashi state could be seen as a move to diminish the influence of Islam in global politics. Hence, promoting a more diluted and making Muslims less politically outspoken in the international stage. It is worth noting that many Bektashi teachings resonate with the current world order. Little wonder, UNESCO noted on its website, the words of 13th-century philosopher Hasai Bektaş Veli are such as to giving messages to 8 centuries later that they also coincide with the Undeclaration of Human Rights which was accepted in 1948. Reactions. The Alevi Bektashi community in Turkey is distancing itself from the proposal to establish a Bektashi state in Albania. The secretary of the Alevi Bektashi Federation stated that this initiative could foster a negative atmosphere toward Elvis and potentially lead to unrest in Turkey. Furthermore, there is opposition to the proposed state in Albania. The Muslim community of Albania has labeled the project a dangerous precedent for the future of the country and criticized the lack of consultation with religious communities before placing this initiative on the agenda.